Now let's see like some simple examples. Try to understand what clustering will do to different kind of problems. And again, it depends on like what's your objective. So for example, we have like all these characters from, let's say, some comic. And again, so each of these individuals is, let's say, your sample point. And now you have to solve some kind of clustering problem. And you will see that depending upon what your objective is, your clustering results will be different. Okay, so for example, let's say we want to perform clustering based on family members. So our two clusters are, the first is like this Simpsons family, and the second is the school employees. So if we use these two as clusters, the result which you will obtain is something like this. All these are school employees, and all these are like Simpsons family. Okay, so that was the objective you had to solve. And again, if you had to solve, and again, your samples are not changing, you're just changing the objective. In this case, we are saying that we want two different clusters. The first cluster belongs to females, and the second cluster belongs to males. And again, you can see the same data set, so the same sample points, your clustering results are different. Okay, so it really matters like what you truly want to achieve. And for that, the core component of clustering is the similarity measure. How will you compute similarity? Okay, so in this particular case, like if you're looking for females, then the features which you will be interested in is like female attributes, which define this property. Okay, for example, in this case, the images I'm showing, visually like both of these images are almost similar, right? If you look at the color tone, it's very similar. Even if you look at the texture, it's pretty similar. But again, depending upon what you want to achieve, these two images might go to different clusters, or they might go to the same cluster. Okay, for example, let's say if you have to categorize like objects based on whether the hair are brown or curly, then they might go into the same category. On the other hand, if we have to cluster, okay, we want to separate like animals versus maybe humans, or dogs versus females, right? Then they will fall into different clusters. So it boils down to like what kind of problem you want to solve, and how will you determine that similarity score between different samples. So for example, when I said like if you're looking into like hair, whether they're curly or not, whether they're brown or not, then the similarity measure could be like you might want to detect these kind of features, right? Whether you have curly hairs or not. You don't care whether this is a dog or this person. And if it's like a human versus animal, then again, you will look into different kind of features for that. Okay, and again, so depending upon that, you might have to choose like different kind of features. Features could be based on colors, intensity, location, texture, and a lot of other factors. Now, even if you have the features, then the next question is how you're going to actually say that two different samples are similar. To be able to do that, you need some kind of similarity, or you can say like distance metric, right? So the idea will be given two samples. You will have some kind of function which will take these two samples as input, and it's going to extract some features. We don't know what features it will be looking into, and it's going to give you some kind of numbers. And this number will be used to estimate whether these two samples are similar or not. All right. Similarly, you can have like two different words, and you might get like some kind of number for that, whether they're similar or not. And again, this function will vary from problem to problem. It will depend upon what kind of features you're looking into, and then again, how you're matching those features. Okay, so you need this kind of distance metric to perform clustering. And this is a very interesting problem if you look at these two examples on the right. So these two are like, let's say, words, but maybe in different languages. And they might mean similar things. So the semantic meaning is not changing, which means that if you're looking into semantics of these words, you might get like a very high similarity score, or you can say like very small distance measure, right? But if you want to differentiate between different languages, like whether these words come from different languages or not, or same language or not, then again, you might need a function which will give you like a number which is pretty high. All right. Now, if you look at these two images, So this is like a fingerprint fingerprint image, right, from a scanner. Now, as a human, if you look into these two images, I mean, both are fingerprint. Okay, so now if you just want to say that whether these are fingerprint images or not, we can say they are pretty much similar. But in like application point of from application point of view, we might not be interested in that because that's trivial. These are fingerprints. What we might be interested in is whether these two fingerprints are coming from the same individual or not. And if they are not, then we need like some kind of metric function which says that, okay, these fingerprints are from different individuals. So it boils down to what you want to achieve, and that will determine what kind of function, what kind of features you're going to use.